All right, good day and welcome to class today. Based on the request that I received from one of my students, I am dropping this video on the topic water of crystallization. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell so that as soon as new videos drop in physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics, you will be notified as you prepare for your exam. So without wasting your time, let us go straight. I want you to know that before I explain what to mean by water of crystallization, let me make it clear to you that another name for water of crystallization is called water of hydration. Water of crystallization is also called water of what? Hydration. And what is water of crystallization? It is the amount of water associated with the formation of crystals. What do we mean by formation of crystal? Let me explain something for you very quickly. Under the preparation of salt, there are different methods of preparing salt. One of the methods is evaporation to dryness, where you heat all the water and the water evaporates and then you leave you the salt. But in chemistry, there are some salt that if you heat them for all the water to evaporate, the salt will be destroyed in the process. So you cannot use evaporation to dryness in order to prepare such salt. So what method do you use to prepare salt like that? You use the method called crystallization. And what is crystallization? Crystallization is the process whereby crystals are formed. And what are crystals? I want you to know that all the salt they exist in the form called crystal. Like if you go to your kitchen now, sodium chloride is a salt in your kitchen. That form in which you see sodium chloride is called crystal form. I want you to know that it's not like powder, because powder is like flour. If you carry flour for baking of a cake or something, or the powder that women rub on their faces, it is not the same particle. It is not the same. It is not like salt. Salt is not powder. Salt is crystals. So there are some salt that you need to use the method of crystallization to produce them. So let me explain that method quickly. So when the salt is already in solution and you want to recover it, you want to get the salt as crystals, but if you heat the solution until all the water evaporates, you will realize that the salt will be destroyed. So what do? You heat and part of the water will evaporate. After that, to a certain stage, we say the solution becomes saturated. Then you turn off the heat. As you turn off the heat, the temperature of the remaining solution will begin to drop. As the temperature drop, the solubility of the salt will also drop, and before you know, the crystals of the salt will begin to form inside the solution. That is what we call crystallization. Then how do you get the crystal of the salt? The remaining water, you gently pour it away. In chemistry, we call it decantation. You decant the water away, then you notice that the crystal of salt that will remain in the beaker or in the container will be wet. That water that makes it wet is what we call water of crystallization. And how do you recognize this kind of salt when you see them in chemistry? Look at this example. You see copper sulfate here with 5 molecules of water. So I say that it has 5 water of what? Crystallization. This is not the only salt that has water of what? Crystallization. Other example is sodium carbonate with 10 water of crystallization, magnesium sulfate with 7 water of what? Crystallization. Then if you want the water of crystallization to leave the salt, all you need to do is that we say when the salt is what? Heated and it loses the water of crystallization, it becomes anhydrous salt. So salt that the water of crystallization has disappeared, has left it, is called anhydrous salt. Let me give you an example quickly. Look at copper sulfate now with 5 water of crystallization. If you see it in your school lab, it will have a blue color because it is hydrated. But when this 5 molecule of water is gone after heating this one like this, you will get only copper sulfate, which will now be white in color, and the white one now is anhydrous, meaning there is no water. So I'm going to give you two possible questions that JAMB can set for you very quickly, and they involve a calculation. So the first question says that when 10.8 gram of hydrated salt, that is the one that has water, was heated, 5.4 gram of water was lost. That means in the beginning, water is 5.4 and the total water and salt is what? 10.8. The question now says calculate the percentage of water in the hydrated salt. Don't forget that what makes the salt hydrated is because there is water. The formula is very simple. Percentage of water is equal to mass of water all over mass of hydrated salt times what? 100. Remember from the question, hydrated salt is 10.8 gram and water is 5.4 gram. So if you substitute into this formula, you are going to get 5.4 divided by 10.8 multiplied by 100. We are multiplying by 100 because it is a percentage. So if you divide 4.5, carry your calculator now, and divide it by 10.8, you will get 0.5, and that 0.5 now you multiply by this 100, you will get 50%. So your answer is that the percentage of water in the hydrated salt is 50%. Now let's consider example 2. This example 2, it is not difficult at all, but this is the one that many students consider to be what? Difficult. But I want you to know that it's not difficult. You just listen carefully and I'm going to explain it very, very briefly. The question say a hydrated salt, that means it contains water of crystallization, has the formula MgSO4.x H2O. That means this X is supposed to be a number, which is the water of crystallization. But instead of giving you the number, they call it what? X. So it is that X they are going to ask us to find. So pay attention now. The question now say that if 120 gram of the hydrated salt loses 54 gram of what? Water when heated, find what? X. That means the total mass of all this salt now plus the salt and the water, everything is 120, but only the water is what? 54. So what do? The first thing you do is to find the mass of anhydrous salt. That is the salt that there is no water again. So it will be mass of hydrated salt minus mass of what? Water. If you do that, you get 66 gram. Now the next thing now is to find the number of mole of the salt and the number of mole of water. In case you don't know, in chemistry, number of mole, which we call amount, number of mole amount is equal to mass all over molar mass. I want you to take note of this formula. Amount is mass over molar mass. That is what I have done here. So the first thing I have to do is to find the number of mole of the anhydrous salt. What is the mass of the anhydrous salt? I calculated earlier, 66. So I will have 66 over 120. This 120, I want you to pay attention now. This 120 is not the 120 in the question. This 120 is the molar mass of MgSO4. If you don't know how to calculate molar mass, just add the mass number of magnesium to that of sulfur and to that of oxygen times 4, you will get it. But if you are still finding it difficult, comment under this video and say I should teach you how to calculate molar mass of compound, and I will do that. But if you calculate the molar mass of MgSO4, you will get 120, and 60 divided by 120 will give us 0.55 mole. Then we also do the same thing again, number of mole of water. Remember that water is 54 gram, so we say 54. And when you calculate the molar mass of water, remember the formula for water is H2O. Hydrogen is 1. The mass of hydrogen is 1. So 1 times 2, 2. Oxygen is 16. 16 plus 2 give us this 18. And like I told you earlier, if you are still struggling to find molar mass of compound, just let me know. I'll make a video on it and drop it on this channel for you. So very quickly, so that this video will not be too long, if you divide 54 by 18, you get 3 mole. So why the salt and hydrous salt is 0.55 mole, water is 3 mole. So you find the mole ratio. You compare 0.55 for the salt and 3 for the water. So among these two numbers now, this one is the smaller one. So you divide both sides by the smaller one, which is 0.55. Divide here also by 0.55. So 0.55 divides 0.55 will give you 1. And 3 divided by 0.55 will give you what? 5. So since it is 1 to 5, it means this X here is actually this 5. So the formula of the compound become MgSO4.5 water of crystallization. So this is how it works. But like I always said, if you don't practice, if you don't read, you will not succeed here. So now I will encourage you, read your chemistry textbook, go and read this topic, find JAMB past question or WAEC past question, try to attempt them. If you cannot answer them, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, just kindly do that. Turn on the notification bell so that you can get more from us. See you in our next class. Thank you.